Hi, so I'm Amanda Gunawan, and I'm the founding principal of OWIU Design, Only Ways Up, and I'm here with Design Milk for DMTV Milkshake. I am the founding principal of architecture and design company OWIU Design. We're based in Los Angeles, California. Most recently, we also started our home goods line that focuses on ceramics called OWIU Goods, and yeah. So let's get started. I have a bowl of questions right here. I'm gonna mix them around and they're random. Let's go. Your work frequently references Japanese influences. What about that sensibility speaks to you? This is a very loaded question for me because there is a lot. Obviously, I'm very inspired by Japanese culture and Japan as a whole country. But I would say it's their passion and their dedication to craftsmanship that really impresses me. I think someone once told me a story about people in Japan. Like they say that let's say someone Japanese is working at a coffee shop. They are not trying to become the manager of the coffee shop. They're just trying to make the best damn cup of coffee they can ever make. And I think that's so special. And hearing that and seeing that in the country itself really drew me to the country and the way that they operate. And that is kind of how I wanted to live my life as well. So yeah. Okay, next question. What haven't you learned yet that you most want to? So I have a real passion for learning, and I know it's one of those things that like people would like roll their eyes at because it's so holier than thou, but I really do have a passion for learning, and I'm really not talking about like highly intellectual stuff per se, although I would argue that everything pretty much relates to, like, the whole world relates to everything, so there's no such thing as like something that's more intellectual than the other, but that's for another day. Let's see, I really am delving quite deeply into my meditation practice, and so because of that, I kind of want to understand the technical side of what I'm learning in order to discover a more spiritual side to it. And something that I've been very interested in picking up is a somatic breathwork course. And as you can see, I take all these random courses that sometimes feel so unrelated to my discipline, but they somehow tie back into my work, right? Because like, meditation, I feel like, has only made me a better person, has only ever influenced my work in like a positive way. It's also helped my running tremendously. So yeah, that and so many other things really. Like I want to pick up mountain biking. I want to learn how to freestyle swim. I want to master that so that I can do a triathlon, but that's for like another decade. And I want to do diving. I feel like I should have just started with that and ended with that and kept it short. But I've always wanted to go scuba diving, and I want to pick that up. Okay, we're gonna go with all of that. There's just too many things. Your ceramics line is beautiful. What can you tell us about the color palette and glaze work? Okay, so going back to the Japanese influences question, I'm very inspired by the culture of omiyage in Japanese culture, and that is the culture of gift giving, but there is a certain depth to it, where the gift kind of represents the context in which the person receives the gift. And so I like that because it means that there is a sentiment that is attached to this particular object, and that is exactly what we are trying to achieve with OWIU Goods. We're trying to say that an object should have more than just an aesthetic appeal to someone. It should have a sentimental attachment to, like, a person should have a sentimental attachment to that object. And so because of that, we go back straight to where we feel human beings have the most attachment to, and that is nature. And because of that, we launched our Matter line that is inspired of all of it is inspired out of nature and landscapes. And so, yeah, I think definitely the glaze is inspired off of nature. Oops, I almost... How do you get everything done between your work as an architect, a designer, a builder, and a runner? Well, really, to be honest, I don't. Just kidding, but not really. I have an incredible team to help with this, and so I'm not doing this alone. But also, like, I don't aim for 100%. I never do. I always aim for 80%. Of course, I aim for 100% sometimes, but it's just not realistic, right? If you're doing so many things and you're trying to achieve so many things, I think you kind of pace it out. My work or my life is a marathon. It's not a sprint, but it can consist of a bunch of sprints. And so because of that, I kind of have to pace everything out and pace all of my energy out. But I'm also one of those people that do not have proper hobbies, because my hobby is now my work. I've somehow made all of my hobbies my work, and every time somebody asks me what I like to do during my free time, I kind of struggle a little bit to answer that question, because I don't have any free time because I'm always working. But again, I really enjoy my work. So the bad part of it is that I'm always working, but the good part of it is that I love my work. So yeah. You work at a range of scales. How do OWIU Home Goods connect to your work as an architect? Well, I would argue that as an architect, you take your inspiration from everything around you, the world around you, at least I do. And OWIU Goods is still very much representative of our design company's attention to detail, our thoughtfulness, and all of that, even careful craftsmanship, all of that. It's just more tactile, and the results are produced much faster because you're actually creating an object. And also you get to be very creative with it, right? When you're designing a building or you're designing a space, there's so many moving parts that come into play, but when you are creating a piece of ceramic, you have free reign to kind of do anything you want. And it's very different, but very similar at the same time. And it's quite rewarding in that sense, because you get your results much faster. You're able to generate creativity and then kind of put all of that into an object, and it comes out within 2 weeks, versus in architecture, it takes a much longer time. So yeah, I think that's it for all of the questions. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope you enjoyed that.